Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel Kajidataonline. Thank you very much for visiting this video. So this is a comprehensive video where I'm going to explain much more deeper as compared to the previous quick versions of this explanation with regard to the interfacing your Arduino Nano with the with the temperature and relative humidity SHT21. Okay, so this is the sensor that I already explained to you just now. So we have the SHT21. This sensor specifically interfaces using the I2C connection, where we have the 4 important pin over here. Let me zoom a little bit so that you can have a look about how the sensor are going to be connected with our Nano. So the first one, we have the VIN, ground, SCL, and also SDA. So this 4 pin is actually being connected to the corresponding pin at the Arduino side. So please allow me to share with you how you want to connect it. So the VIN over here, the VIN pin is actually being connected to the 5 volt of the Arduino Nano. So this is our 5 volt of Arduino Nano. And then our ground are being connected to the ground of the Arduino Nano over here. And then the SCL and SDA are being connected basically at the analog pin. So SDA is actually being connected to the analog pin number 4, the orange color over there. And then the SCL are actually being connected to the yellow color over there, SCL. Okay. So that is how you want to interface this sensor, which is the SHT21. It's a temperature and humidity sensor. And then if you can see on our LCD, the value here are quite we can consider the values given by this sensor are quite accurate as compared to the DHT11 and also other chip sensor, because I think a lot of review is already being made based on the use of this sensor. Okay, so to begin with, so the first one, the sensor itself, which is the SHT21, you need the external libraries with regard to this SHT21, which is I'm going to share with you later on how to do that. And then this is the LCD. So this is LCD 16:2. So the way that we attach the LCD is basically using the I2C module over here, where you have the similar 4 important connections to be attached with your Arduino Nano. So the first one is the ground. Go to the ground of Arduino. VCC are going to be attached at the 5 volt of your Arduino. And then you have the SDA and SCL, which is correspond to the pin A4 and A5 respectively. So that is how you want to interface in a simplified conditions to use this LCD together with the SHT21 temperature and also humidity sensor. Okay, beside that, I also attach my module over here together with the HC05 using a serial communication. We call it as a soft serial communication, where the interface of this HC05 are quite simple, because you just need also 4 pins to be connected at your Nano. So let me just give you an idea how you want to connect it. So you also can see over here we have a VCC and ground. So VCC and ground will be attached at the VCC and ground of our Arduino Nano. So you can see we got 3 important connections over here. One for sensor, one for the LCD I2C, and then another one will be for the Bluetooth. So this Bluetooth can tolerate up to 6 volts. So remember to use the correct voltages so that you don't damage your HC05. Okay, and then we have the RX and TX, which correspond to these 2 important color, which is the silver color and also the magenta color. So basically, RX are going to be attached at the pin number 2 over here. If you can see, this is the pin number 2. And then for the TX are going to be attached at the pin number 3. So we are actually going to use the imported libraries given and shared by the respective personnel or engineers who are creating this code for us, which is I'm going to share with you later on where to get those library. And you can also find all the useful information with regard to the diagram electronic configurations of all these module inside the descriptions of this video. Okay, we are going to go into a way of coding this Arduino Nano using what we call it as the Arduino blocks. Okay, so the reason of that is basically the Arduino blocks can help you to improve the way that you code and also to understand the flow mechanism and ensuring the percentage of error can be reduced significantly after using this kind of method, especially for the newbies. Okay, so the first one, you have to create your account if you did not have any account with regard to the use of the Arduino blocks. I already did that. So let me just key in my credential and also log in so that I can proceed to share with you the idea of using this. All right. So let me just proceed to this icon over here. We call it as a start new project. And then I'm going to click the start new project over here and then navigate my cursor to the personal projects. Okay. So my interest, basically, I want to use the personal project and then share with you how to code it using the Arduino blocks. And then these Arduino blocks also can become a complete repository where you can find a lots of the idea with regard to the connections of this exercise. And then you can also prepare your smartphone that already being installed with the serial Bluetooth, which is I'm going to simulate it after this. All right. So the first one, you have to specify your project. In this case, I'm going to specify my project as, sorry, not Auto, is Arduino Nano. Okay, I'm just going to choose the Arduino Nano, which is mine is actually on the old, which is on the old bootloader. So I may want to choose this one. And then we can give the name of our project. So this is the HC05 SHT21. Okay, temperature and also humidity, temperature and humidity sensor. So during this pandemic, actually the temperature and humidity is very important, especially if you're staying yourself inside the indoor environment that already being supplied by the mechanical ventilations, because the virus of the COVID-19 is actually favor to a certain conditions of the indoor environment. You can also check it out on my explanations with regard to the sharing information of the research related to the indoor air quality, especially on the parameters such as temperature and humidity. So we have to specify our component, which is going to update later on. And then we can also create new project over here. Just click over there, new project, and then you can together with me code this setup of our Arduino Nano together with all the functions, especially our sensor over here, which is the SHT21. Okay, so let's begin. The first one, we need to do some sort of initialization. So as you know, our project today is basically we want to interface not only our Arduino Nano, or any Arduino also can do, but we are trying to establish a communication with the I2C devices so that our SHT21 can capture the temperature and humidity levels and thus send to the Arduino board and make some sort of reporting mechanism to our HC05 Bluetooth module to be sent over to our handphone. So our handphone today are basically going to be used as one of the mechanism where you want to create an action like a data logger. As we are going to interface our sensor using the Arduino blocks. If you can see on my screen right now, I am opening the arduinoblocks.com. So inside the Arduino blocks, we are going to learn how to code our project. As you know that previously in the first chapter of this video, I already explained about interfacing all the hardware. So let us just recap a little bit. So this is our hardware that already being attached with the sensor SHT21. So this is our sensor. So the sensor are being connected to the I2C communication protocol. And then we are also connecting it with our HC05. So the HC05 module or the Bluetooth module is just to interface with our mobile phone. So I have a mobile phone over here that we are going to connect it and also make some interface with regard to the data coming out from our serial monitor. Okay, so let us dive into the method to code this project. The first one, you have the setup over here. You can navigate your cursor and then you can open up a few logic and blocks inside our Arduino blocks. So let me begin with the first one at the setup function. You can first set up your serial monitor. So you can go to the serial port and then initialize the baud rate as follows, which is the 9600, the usual baud rate for the Arduino to communicate with our computer so that we know the status of our sensor and output. And then the next one, we might want to consider using the Bluetooth connectivity by initializing it. So as you can see over here, we initialize the RX and TX with the similar baud rate at the digital pin number 2 and 3. So this is called soft serial method. It is very useful, especially if you do not want to connect and disconnect your RX and TX existing on your Arduino side. And then we can also insert something to do with the LCD. So you can just go over here and then you can select this item, which is the LCD I square C 2 times by the 16, which is the 2 rows with 16 columns, all right, with the specific address of hexa 27. So this one actually can be changed according to the address that's suitable for your manufacturing standard. All right, so let us begin with the looping. So on the void loop, we are going to basically create a variables, and then we are going to instruct the Arduino what we'll do after this and that. So the way that we want to code this one is very simple. Let me just zoom a little bit so that you can have a look about the process. Okay, so the first one, perhaps you want to initialize everything already done in our setup section. So in the loop section, we need to set a variables. Okay, so the first one, you go on the left side over here and then you can select the variable. I'm going to choose the select item over here and then put inside our void loop. And then we want to create and rename our variables as follows. So I might want to rename it as temp. Temp means temperature, followed by another one, which is I'm going to duplicate it also. I'm going to rename a new variable. So I'm not going to do the rename. Instead, I'm just going to new variables over here. So I'm going to specify it as humid. So humid is for humidity, just like that. Okay, so this is actually, we want to adjust the code later on in our Arduino IDE because this is the I2C device, and then some of the item are not available in Arduino blocks. However, I think the Arduino blocks offer a lot of other options and also pre-made sensor that you can straight away using it. But in this video, I'm just going to share with you how we want to manipulate it using the I2C protocol. Okay, after you initialize and create a variables, then you may want to proceed with the action. So our action is basically we want to send the data of the temperature and humidity to our LCD and also to our serial monitor, and then proceed to send the data also to our Bluetooth device. So to do that, we need to specify a certain requirement. So let me just start with the simple one first, which is the serial port. I'm just going to send the data from the temperature and humidity sensor SHT21 into our serial monitor. So to do that, just do like what I did just now, and then we can proceed to another one. So let me just rearrange these positions of the setup so that you can further understand the way that I'm doing it. So after you put the serial monitor over here, then you can ask another serial port also inside down here, because the first one we want to send the data with regard to the temperature, and then another one for the humidity. And therefore I may want to uncheck this one so that we can have a straight line composed of two different variables. So send what? So that is the way that you want to code using the graphical language, right? So the first one, you might want to go to the text over here, and then you can insert this one, create text with. So the reason of using this create text with is because we want to combine a certain variable with a certain notation. So the first one, of course, I would like to say to the computer, send the temperature. So we might want to insert this one, the text, and then we tell the computer to put the notation, something like this, the temperature. Okay, double dot. So the temperature will be what? So the Arduino are going to be sensing the temperature based on the temperature sensor, and therefore we call upon the variable. So you insert your variable down here, all right, and then you specialize it or you specify it using the temp. And then furthermore, usually what I did on the first line of any communication, I may want to insert another one. So to insert another item down here with the combinations of all the structure, I'm just going to go to this button and then insert the item down the join mechanism. So by doing that, we have the another one that we can specify with. So I'm going to go to the text and then insert the another text. So this text is nothing to do with the variables and nothing to do with the values. It's just a notations of the semicolon. The reason of doing this is because we want to segregate it using our statistical package later on, so that the computer know already this is the value and then this is not the value. This is just a separations of one variable to another variable. And therefore you can also using a space bar to make a spacing over there. And then what you need to do is just copy. You can just copy all of the variable inside the item of this sending to the serial terminal, and then you can just change it accordingly. So I'm going to change it as the relative humidity. It's a very benefited is if you are trying to make a coding with a quick manner, and then see what kind of things will be changed after that. All right, so after that, perhaps I do not want to have this one on the relative humidity, because that is our item, right? Our items only consist of temperature and humidity. But if your sensor can detect more than that, perhaps you want to make some adjustment as your requirement. So maybe also you want to insert some what we call it as a symbols. It is all up to you. But in my case, I just want to make it much more easier so that you can follow it through. After that, you can also send the variable to our I square C LCD. So I'm going to use this one, LCD print column. So LCD print column 0 means we are going to actually showing the data on the top of the LCD. This is the first row, okay? The first row in the LCD of the Arduino blocks is considered to be 0. So this one is the 0, and then this one will be the 1. And then each of the column also same. The first column over here is called column 0, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 15. So to make this one much more easier, let us just proceed with the 0 and 0, which is you are going to observe your output is basically on this first T, on the T alphabet over here. After doing that, then you can insert the variables that you want to show into the LCD. So I may want to duplicate this one and then make my life much more easier by inserting it down here. But remember, if you are doing like this, you must do some sort of changes due to the fact that some of the character might not be possible to be shown on your LCD. Therefore, I'm just going to make it some sort of simplified version. So I'm just going to do something like this. And then we do not want to have this one. Okay, so this one you can remove it because this is the only item for the first row. So what will happen is actually the Arduino are going to print the value of the temperature and then also our symbols on the first row. So this is the first row, 29.14 that you can see on my screen just now. Okay, so the next episode or the next item that you probably want to do is just copy this one. Okay, you can copy these values also, and then you can insert it down there. So the first one, as you know, we initialize at the first column and also at the first row, but the indication will be the 0 and 0. And then the second one, of course, on the similar port, on the similar positions, but on the alphabet R over here is actually on the row number 1. The row number 1 according to this software. So therefore you specify it as number 1 like that. Okay, and then do not forget to change this one. Okay, you have to change the notation for the second one, which is the RH, relative humidity. And then your relative humidity is basically being expressed by the percentage. And then we are going to change the variables also. So done. So this is a very quick one. And then you can also copy and paste for another one. So it depends on the type of LCDs that you have available on your Arduino package. Okay, so the last one is actually you are going to interface it with our Bluetooth. Therefore, we can use this one. Okay, you can send the Bluetooth to the line feed. Okay, you can just copy it down here. Okay, let me please allow me to just scroll down a little bit so that you can see the flow of manipulating the variables for the Bluetooth connectivity. Okay, so you have the Bluetooth also. The next step, of course, to make your life much more easier and simplified, just copy this one. I'm so sorry, not this one, but the whole package of this. Okay, you can just copy. Okay, you can just copy all of this composition, and then they will copy it for you, and then you can just insert it like that. Okay, as simple as that. Then you can copy again this one, or you can just copy this one. So to do that in much more easier, I may want to do like this. I'm going to the Bluetooth and then send the line feed also, and then insert down there. And then perhaps I may want to use the same thing for the serial port over here, and then just insert it like that. And remember to uncheck this one so that we can have a straight line with composed of the temperature and relative humidity in the specific line, in one line. In one line, you got two variables straight away because we want to make it as a data logger. And then these data logger are then being saved inside our smartphone and then can be extracted out to do some sort of statistical analysis. And then we are going to learn also how to do the statistical analysis with regard to the predictions of the temperature and humidity, which I have been collected some of the data, but not using the Bluetooth, but of course using the over the internet access, using a cloud services. Okay. After that, do not forget to put some delay. Okay, so you can just put some delay over here. So I'm going to insert the 1000 millisecond is equivalent to 1 second delay. So the delay is very useful and very important, especially if you want to make sure that whatever being shown in your whatever being shown in your LCD, for example, can be easily been seen by the human naked eye. Okay, actually we finish arranging all the details, but we need some little bit more modification, all right? Because we are interfacing with the I2C sensor, therefore you need to do some sort of modification. But of course, if you're using this software or this platform, we call it as the Arduino blocks, you are able to see all the codes, especially the way that the code been arranged. You can just go to the view code over there, and then you can see it is included the serial software and all the things. Okay, it's very easy process. It's look like complicated one, but I believe you can try it by yourself because it's so fun to interface with it rather than you just write the code. And then in fact you can just copy and paste over here and there. And also it's help the beginners, like maybe some of you excuse me, maybe like helping some beginners to understand the way that we want to code this Arduino board. So I'm going to download it, so you can have the function over here, download code. So I may want to download the code, so the code is already available over there. And then I'm going to proceed to open the code, and then this is my blank sketch. I'm just going to open the Arduino code that already been generated by this arduinoblocks.com. And then they ask you to open it inside a folder, then I will specify as yes. All right, so you have all these initializations of the Arduino code. Let me just make some changes with regard to the Arduino font size over here, so that you can see what kind of manipulations and also the code already being written up by my good self. So the next part is actually you need to call upon the SHT21. So SHT21 require a certain libraries. So to do that, you just include a library over here. You can just put include. Okay, so you have the library. We call it SHT21.h. Okay, and then you might want to initialize those SHT21 as SHT. Okay, just like that. All right, so usually for the temperature and humidity, I'm going to use the float rather than the double, but of course between all these two, it can function so far in my humble opinion. Okay, and then the void setup also, you need another one which is the wire. Okay, so the wire help you to initialize the use of the I2C. Okay, so you can initialize it also with the wire over here, so that you reconfirm that everything will be work fine. So I'm going to put wire.begin. So wire.begin is for the initializations of our I2C SHT21 sensor. Okay, and then you can proceed over here. You can see this is the temperature that we need to change just now because we make as a variable, right? So the temperature is actually for the SHT mechanism, you can refer to the examples um, of the libraries that already been created. Let me share with you the libraries and also the example of the libraries created by this guy. I'm very thankful to this guy because it is already create a sketch for this example. So let me just open SHT21. You can visit his website and then you can explore it. The more explanations about this SHT21, but in this video, of course, I'm just going to use it and then see what kind of way of writing it up. Okay, so this is the SHT21 libraries created by Croatia, by one of the guy in Croatia, which is the eradionica.com. So you can see over here, they have the website. You can just follow it. I will attach these libraries inside the descriptions of this video and also inside the descriptions of the attachment of this project so that you can have a look and then perhaps communicate with the owner of this library. So you can see this is the way that he coded it, including SHT21.h, SHT21 SHT, and then as usual begin the setup. So this is the main item that we want to know. What kind of directions or what kind of instructions that we want to give to the Arduino to get the input from the SHT sensor. So basically is SHT.get temperature or SHT.get humidity. So to do that is very simple. You can just type here SHT.get temperature. Okay, and then you can also specify down here as SHT.get humidity. Okay, let me just double check whether it is correct or not. So it's correct. So you can close it up because you have your own. So this one, do not forget to put the bracket over there. And then actually, we finish our coding part of the Arduino blocks using the arduinoblocks.com platform and also make some adjustment with regard to the use of the sensor. And then we can just proceed to see the action. So the first one, you can just go to your tools over here and then select your appropriate Arduino and then you can just upload the code. So let me do that for you. Okay, so I'm just going to navigate my cursor over here. Just go to the tools. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time. All right, so just go to the tools and then select your board accordingly. So in my case, I'm going to choose my Arduino Nano and then it is a old bootloader at this particular serial port. Okay, you can just proceed first with verifications of the code. After you verify the code, then we can see what kind of output are going to be given and then what kind of actions are going to be changed after we send the code. And of course, you are going to see something similar like this. But for the sake of experiment of this module and also interface, let me just put something so that you can see that it is already changed. Just now we used the double dot, right? So for the sake of experiment only, because we want to see it in our LCD. So we change this one with the equal signs. Okay, so similarly with this one, I'm changing the double dot or semicolon with the equal sign so that you can appreciate the changes that will be happening in our setup of the Arduino hardware. All right, so along the line, waiting for this compilation, let me just explain a little bit about the Bluetooth connectivity. So as you know, if you have the Bluetooth sensor, so perhaps you can just, I will, the first one, disable any communications that exist inside my phone so that you can really understand how you want to connect it in the first time. So let me just go to the connected devices over here, and then we can see the list of the connected devices because I want to remove first, and then we can appreciate to pair the new device. Okay, let me just do that for you. Previously connected device. Okay, this is the HC05. I'm just going to reset it so that it is forgot already. So to make a connections, basically you have to install what we call it as a serial Bluetooth. So you can just go over here and then you can just type Bluetooth terminal, and then one of it are going to be appear, which is the serial Bluetooth terminal. So this example of the symbols and also from the Kai Morik, you can install it and then you can have look what kind of the interface of this. So I already install it and then insert on my phone. So let us try to see whether the code is okay or not. All right, so the compilation is done. So let me just upload it into our Arduino Nano. So we can have a look what kind of the actions and output are going to be generated from the layout or the setup over here, the hardware setup. So let me just make it a little bit smaller so that you can see the action after this. So the compilation is nearly done. Let me just double check. Okay, it's almost nearly done. And then we can see what kind of things happen. So uploading is in progress. And then the LCD are going to refresh a little bit of second. And then it's going to produce the outcome based on our setup. Okay, so you can see over here it's changed already from the semicolon like this into the equal sign. So actually we are already interfacing it successfully. So you can see when I press the sensor with my finger, because of course the human generate heat, right? So it is also indicated some changes and also rising up of the temperature. So that is the first experiment done, which is our LCD are well communicated with our SHT21. And then perhaps you want to see also whether our sensor are communicated well enough with our serial port. So let us open the serial port over here. As you know, the serial port available on the top right corner over there. So this one is your serial monitor. So I'm just going to open the serial monitor with the similar baud rate that been set up. All right. So you can see also over here that the temperature and relative humidity is successfully captured by the Arduino Nano. Okay, so the third experiment, of course, because I already explained it to you, because we want to interface it using our smartphone as a data logger, because you want to collect the data and then store it inside our phone, so that you do not need bring any SD card, even though it is very cool if you can also interface it with the SD card, but that one will be covered in the future video. So let us open it. So the first one, if you want to open any device, you can go to your serial Bluetooth terminal, and then you have the opportunity to see this button, right? So this is the button that you want to connect, and then you can just go to the button and then you try to connect it, and then they say that it's not being connected. So the reason is you need to connect your Bluetooth via the your phone basis. So the first one to do that, you can just go here and then go to the setting, and then proceed with the connected devices, and then go to the pair new devices. So the pair new devices help you to explore and also understand what kind of Bluetooth devices in the surrounding of your phone. Okay, so we just wait for one. So this is my TV, and then we just wait for a few seconds so that our right. So you might want to push the reset button on your Arduino Nano. Okay, I'm just go to the pair over here, and then they ask the prompt for me to insert the specific pin. So usually we set it as 1, 2, 3, 4 as the manufacturer specification, and then we can click the OK button, and then the pairing are done, and then they are saying that currently connected. So it is being successfully connected with our Arduino HC05 and also our smartphone. So the next step is basically go back to our serial Bluetooth, and then you can reconnect it back, and then you can see the data or the devices are trying to connect, and then the connection is very well established over there. You can see the temperature and relative humidity are being coded every 1 second, because we set the delay of 1 second. To make this one as a data logger, you can navigate through over these 3 dots on the top right corner of your smartphone, and then you can just go to the data over here, and then you have the save, where you can save basically everything that already being displayed, or you can click this log. After you click this log, so they say that they start logging over here, and then they will continue to log all the data, even though you have the other jobs to do, or even though you have other things to do with regard to your work basis, right? So basically all the data is being stored inside your smartphone, and of course it is being configured as a CSV file. So let me just share with you how it is going done. So after it's finished, then you can just go back and then click the log, and then they say that stop logging. So I can navigate my file. Okay, so just go to the configuration over here, and then you can export. Okay, so basically you can export all of the data. So this is all my data with regard to the experiment that I already done with you together today. So this is the latest data, the serial one, at this particular time. So you can just go over here and then you can save it. Okay, you can override it or you can save it. But the most important thing is actually you want to send the data over the internet so that you can make a adjustment or you can make a further analysis. So let me just have a look where I set up my data. So let me just go into the miscellaneous. Okay, so I have this data being saved inside the internal storage of the one.serial Bluetooth. So I can open my smartphone over here and then navigate to the serial Bluetooth. So this is the latest data. All right, so this is the latest data. Okay, so this latest data, you can just go to the send over here and then you can send to your Gmail, for example, and then you can further analyze it using the statistical package. So let me just give you an idea how to interface with it. So we already try to establish idea also data. So after you put the data over there, then you can hit the send button, and then your smartphone are going to send those data to your Gmail account. So you can open your Gmail account. Let me just open one of my Gmail account to see that whether there is data available inside my inbox so that I can further analyze it. Okay, because this one is a comprehensive video. If you think that you have something to do to understand the other things, please make sure that you follow and also give some comment on the description under the description of this video. All right, so thanks God, I already got it inside my email. So this is the idea. All right, so this is the idea of the data that already being sent from our smartphone to our smartphone to our email. Okay, so let me just open it and then you can see and appreciate what kind of data that already being produced by this example. So just go over here and then you can just open up the attachment. Okay, you can see the attachment is actually as this default, so it might not be recognizable by your computer, but remember just to put some extension over there, txt, and then you can just add. All right, so now it's become a txt file you data just now. So just open it and then we can see what kind of output are going to be generated from the collection of data. Okay, that's good. You see, it's very cool. You can see the temperature and relative humidity already being coded and also being given as follows. Then you can use this data. You can even open this data using your statistical package such as Microsoft Excel, for instance, for us to further analyze it using the SPSS or Microsoft Excel and so on. Okay, so in a nutshell, so that is already a very deep explanation with regard to the use of our Arduino Nano together with the Arduino blocks interface. And then we are also understand already the use of the Bluetooth as a data logger. And then we have the sensor being attached over here is SHT21 with the LCD so that you can appreciate the output from your indoor environment investigation. Okay, that's conclude our discussion today. I really hope that you all enjoy watching this comprehensive video. Hopefully this video giving you some ideas about how you can manipulate and using all this idea to create your own data logger and also a sensing device so that you can monitor your indoor environment. Perhaps this COVID pandemic is very challenging for us nowadays. So we need to protect ourselves and also make sure that everything are in order. All right. So that's conclude everything, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video. If you got any questions with regard to the idea of using Arduino and also their interface, please do suggest in the descriptions of this video. Please do comment. Give me comment. What do you think about this kind of explanation? Whether you think that it is benefited, what kind of the future projects that I need to explore and share with you. And then the most important thing is come share with me what kind of project that you already explored it. And then we can see you again next time. So please do like, hit those like button. Please do help me share this knowledge so that your students, your colleague, and also your family can further appreciate the beautiful nature of the electronic world nowadays. And then the most important thing, do not forget to subscribe my channel so that you don't miss any future and insight ideas about exploring the Arduino world. With that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and see you again next time. Assalamualaikum and happy nice day. Bye bye.